Hey, Amy,
Yeah, Juan.
give me that beat.
It's Baseball Shangri-La with Amie Cuevas and Juan Ramirez.
What's up, party people? She is Amy Cuevas. I am Juan Ramirez. You are listening or watching Baseball Shangri-La. If you are listening to us on the audio portion of the show, please make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us your comments. We love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, and Bluesky at Baseball Shangri-La. Amy, ¿cómo estás?
I'm just going to warn you now. I am a mess today. I'm exhausted. There has been so much baseball. So buckle up, buttercups. It's going to be a day.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. You've been warned. You've been warned. I want to give a quick shout out to El Cerebro for recognizing my Rikishi reference from the last episode. So thank you very much, El Cerebro.
Speaking of that guy, so when you were explaining to me, I honestly thought it was some guy in the stands just like goofing off and something happened. I saw the video and I just want to say, like, it is so not what I thought. Like, I felt so bad for that person. If anybody hasn't seen the video, I don't know who took that and decided to post it online, but I just that was awful. I feel bad for that guy.
And my compadre accused me of fat shaming. I don't believe I was fat shaming. I was simply, I know Amy doesn't want to hear me say this, but I was simply wondering, where are the chonies? Because
it's not going to be a bit on our show, mainly because watching it and then even just diving into the comments, because I always like to take the temperature of the keyboard warriors, but it felt like bullying. I'm not saying that you were doing that, but just the fact that somebody saw that happen. Obviously, that guy did not want that to happen. It was probably humiliating for him. And then somebody posted it online. Like, that just, as a child who was bullied, that was, even if he's an adult and maybe he should have better fitting pants or whatever. We don't know what his situation was. We don't know what happened when he fell. Like, it felt awful. I felt bad for him watching it.
So, what a way to start off the show.
Upward from here, guys. Upward from here.
Just tuning in, we're here with Amy Cuevas and the fat shamer, Juan Ramirez.
No, I will say, so something else that we covered last week. If you haven't seen it on John Boy yet, they did go back over that play that got John Schneider ejected, and they did a very comprehensive breakdown of the balk that eventually led to his ejection, and I was impressed. I was like, wow. Especially as we talk about, like, it's different from ump to ump, some people might call it, some people won't. Like, the breakdown that they did, if you haven't gotten to see it when the Dodgers played the Blue Jays, check out that John Boy video, because I feel like they pretty conclusively, like, defended that umpire and his call.
So, based on that breakdown, do you think it was a balk?
Yeah. So I don't know if you got to watch it. It's like a 10-minute video. So they not only did they break it down multiple ways, they're showing like how he did his leg kick. Did he do it early? They have side by sides, sometimes doing like 6 to 7 side by sides, sometimes doing 3. So they took the video and they really split it up. Like, I feel like they did a really good job. There were even some of the comments in that video that were like, this is what we need more of from the MLB. Like, explain this stuff to us so that it's not just like, nobody really understands box. That, like, it was so comprehensive. Like, it was a really well done video. So kudos, John Boy.
So all I will say is this: if they spent 10 minutes going over that balk, I think we should show umpires a little grace, because they have seconds to make that decision. And if John Boy takes 10 minutes and there's still debate after those 10 minutes, again, I say let's give umpires some grace. And that's going to be the key theme on this episode, ladies and gentlemen, from the Fat Shamer, is giving people grace. Okay. Just for example, I'm giving grace to the person who created the Ichiro statue. Yes, I got messages. All of you, I got your messages saying, how do I feel? Look, I think that was just a horrible moment for Ichiro. This great moment. You have this statue. I like the statue. I still am completely baffled, even though they repaired it, I guess, that same day, how that's possible, because clearly the bat was, I think, made from different material. I don't know because I didn't do a deep dive on this.
You didn't make the statue?
I'm just completely baffled at, like, how the hell did the bat break?
So
And
for everybody who doesn't know, they unveiled Ichiro's statue, and as they pulled the curtain, the drape, whatever off of it, the bat that he is holding in his hand just bends, and it's like wah wah, and you see everybody standing there like, oh no. I know
I
we're
know
gonna get
the
into
best was Ken
bobble.
Griffey Jr.'s reaction,
Yes.
because and for those of you who don't know, Ken Griffey Jr. has just become this like fabulous photographer now. So
Mhm.
he's always like taking pictures. But I love that Ken Griffey Jr. immediately is just like, oh, like there's
Mhm.
this
Yeah, I
viral
think he
video.
hugged the guy that he was standing next to. I think he like, oh, for
Yeah,
shame, like into that guy's shoulder. Like it was unfortunate. And I know, like I said, we're gonna get into bobbleheads later, but I think it was the Mariners. Did they post like, oh, we fixed it? And so the Ichiro bobblehead giveaway, whether it was a joke or not, they kind of bent the bat a little bit. So
the savagery that goes on in social media. I think that's one of the things that I
that feels
think
like the theme of the beginning of the show is the savagery.
Well, I just feel like I am always so impressed at how quickly they come up with these things, because Amie, I think I saw that image of the bobblehead with the broken bat statue of Ichiro before I actually saw the video of them unveiling the statue and the bat
Oh.
breaking.
Oh, see, I saw the video first, but that's a testament to social media teams. Like,
Yeah.
if you can afford to have one and pay them well, then you reap the benefits online of what they're able to come up with.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the internet is going to be a topic of conversation on this show. But let's start with some baseball, ladies and gentlemen, and a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Amie, I don't know what to say. I mean, we're going to talk baseball here, but I really don't know what to say. They went 5-1 on the road. Then they come home and they go 5-1. They are 14-4. They have the best record in Major League Baseball. Now, you would think 14-4, they're already running away with the division, but don't look now. The Show Pods have won 9 in a row, and they're only 2 games behind the Doyers. So it's April, ladies and gentlemen. So everybody just calmate. But this team, and I'll say this, Amie, I don't even think they're playing their best baseball, and they
No,
just go out there, win series, and just win games. And I feel like that's kind of got to be a little demoralizing to other teams that are just like, man, dude, these guys aren't even playing well and they're beating us.
we don't even have Mookie Betts. I mean, we only saw, I think, Edwin Diaz one of those nights because we're going to get into that. Like, it just, I think it's a testament not only to their skill, like that goes without saying, but like how well these guys play with each other, how they motivate each other. Like, we'll get into it later with some of the series breakdowns, but there's so much of that, and I think that goes into it too.
So you were covering the Rangers series, and you actually got to talk to Dave Roberts. What did Dave Roberts tell you?
Like obviously there was some stuff about like I'm trying to check my notes here. We were talking about Emmett Sheehan. They're basically just like, as long as we can get him through the first inning, they're just looking to try to keep moving him forward. There were a lot of questions about Blake Snell and that he looks good. So hopefully he's gonna get to I'm trying to see my notes here. They're trying to work him up to 3 innings, and then at 4 innings, they're going to send him out on a rehab. I believe it was Saturday when we got there. We were about to go out on the field, and he was going to throw a bullpen, so they kind of scurried us out. So from everything that Dave saw, he said he looked good. So they're just going to keep trying to build him up. And then he did say that he wasn't aware that up until recently that Blake Snell was typically a slow starter. So now that he knows that, it makes a little bit more sense. So they're just kind of working with it. And then the same thing with Roki. They're trying to keep building him up. His mindset has to be in a good spot, along with his the physicality and the mechanics. And so they're saying that his execution is more consistent. So they're just trying to get him consistent all the way around. And then Edwin Diaz is day to day. So they're just going to see how he's feeling They're not putting him on the IL. They're not saying that there's anything wrong with him. They're just kind of keeping an eye on him. So
The Emmett Sheehan thing, I'm curious if they obviously his last start got better results than his previous ones. What are they saying they're looking for with like Emmett Sheehan? Are they like in terms of the results not translating? And did they go into any of that?
they did. I mean, you can go back and watch it on Sportsnet. Twitter has the clip, but basically, like I mean, it's what they're working on with everybody. They're just trying to get everybody ramped up.
So basically, a lot of these pitchers they just think are out of sync with their mechanics, and that it's taking them a while to get up to speed.
I mean, they're working to uncover everybody's, their best traits and try to, put a little shine on it. So,
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, you guys think I
is there
am.
something specific you're looking for in that?
No,
Or
I'm just curious because yeah, Emmett Sheehan. I think I was expecting him to kind of pitch like he pitched last year, and last year I was really surprised at how well he pitched coming back from injury, and this year it looks like he just seems a little bit hittable. And there were signs of that a little bit, I think, in the postseason when he was in the bullpen, but I attributed to the fact that he was in a new role. I mean, he normally wasn't pitching out of the bullpen. So it is still April. So that's why when you bring up Blake Snell being a slow starter, and because there's, like I said, everybody here thinks I'm the Prince of Darkness and all I am is just this negative person. I got news for you guys. You listen to Dodger talk, and there's way more negative people than I am. Because I know we talked about Roki on the
that's
last
why I don't.
episode.
I listen to that stuff, but if it gets too negative, I turn it off. Like I don't have time for that in my life.
I mean, the way people were talking about Roki, they were just like that. He's just and Dave Assay said this, and again, we talked about this on the last episode. All these people that are already demanding that he go down to the minors and that he needs to work on stuff. Look, the number one thing is they need him. They need him at the right now in the rotation with especially with the unicorn going with the 6-man rotation. They need him, and so they're saying, like Dave Assay had said, look, the earliest, if he is going to get sent down, the earliest he would get sent down is once Blake Snell comes back. And that's assuming that nobody else gets hurt, that you have 7 pitchers at that point. And with this team, I just don't know if that's a guarantee. But I find it really fascinating that there's just no patience with Roki. Like there's no belief that at least I'm not hearing from fans that he can change, that
Well,
he can all of a sudden start pitching well.
But I think that's a theme that's going to be going on throughout a lot of what we're going to talk about on this show. Like there's a viral clip of Blake Snell. He's playing video games on like his Twitch channel or whatever. And people are asking him about his injury. Whew, I told you, buckle up, guys. And basically he doesn't go off, but like he gets a little passionate about it of like, yeah, I told my shoulder that I wanted it to be inflamed and all this stuff. Like he's being sarcastic, but like it really is that. Like, do you think these guys don't want to play? Like, I know that there are a lot of conspiracy theories out here, like, so get your tinfoil hats out, but that, the Dodgers are faking in just injuries so that they can just, get everybody healthy and whatever to the postseason. So they can basically like hide these players. That does nobody any good because as we're seeing, you just mentioned Emmett Sheehan, Roki Sasaki, we want to get them those repetitions because they need to get their mechanics and everything kind of lined up. So it's just, I don't know. I just feel like we're hearing so much from the keyboard warriors, and that's the stuff we really need to start tuning out because those people, I don't know if they care about the sport, they don't care about the sport, or they're just being mean for sport. But like, I don't give those people the time of day because it really just, to me, it doesn't matter.
I don't have an issue with the conversation because I think one of the things that I always forget.
It's how you're having the conversation, though. I think is
well, yeah, because I think it's so easy to automatically just go to he sucks, get rid of him. But one of the things I always forget, and when these conversations always come up, they serve as a reminder to me, is I always want to ask, are they healthy? And that's why I'm curious, like, what is the coaching staff, because really that's all that matters, right, is the information that's coming out of the coaching staff or the organization itself in terms of, what are they seeing with these guys?
But at the end
Is
of the
there
day,
a
does
health
it matter?
concern?
Does it change how you watch the game? Like, does it because
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does. And this is how I feel it does change it. Because if I know that someone's hurt or someone is going through it, like there's a mechanical issue, it helps explain to me the results. Like it helps me understand, like, oh, they're getting rocked. Again, I go back to that fascinating
and if
conversation.
they don't have an issue and you're watching them, like, do you watch it like, is there no I don't know,
It
like, I
changes my
just feel like
question. It makes me then ask the question of like, okay, what are they gonna do? How much rope are they gonna give this person? Can this person like turn it around? Because remember last year, when Mookie was really going through it, I think we kept telling ourselves he's gonna snap out of it. He's gonna snap out of it. He's gonna snap out of it. And he ended up having his worst offensive year. And again, everything that he went through in the beginning of the year, as much as he denied that it affected him, it probably did end up affecting him.
and see, I guess that's how I watch it differently. I don't it's not that I don't care, but, like, I'm still gonna watch them play. If they don't, like I guess to me, that's where it's, like, the same as in life. Like, I have rough days, I have good days, whatever. Like, I hope people aren't watching me. Like, I know I'm not that important, but, like, I would hope nobody's watching my life and attributing those things to me. Like, let's just go through life and watch it. Let's like, baseball is for many an escape. So it's like, injured, not injured, doing their best, maybe had a rough day, maybe had a rough month. Like, I just watch the game. Like, to me, some of that stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't factor in. I can't change it. The Dodgers can't change it, and that player sure can't. They can't change it. They're just gonna do their best to get through it. So, like, I don't know. I just don't analyze that part to death because I'm more excited about what is happening in the game, what is going right, what's going on in these guys' lives that's exciting. So I like the human interest part of it better.
So that being said, they ended up winning 2 out of 3 against Texas. So let's do some positivity because I am the Prince of Darkness. I want to talk, and this is going to make David Wants a Taco super happy because he is the president of the Max Muncy fan club. I want to talk about Max Muncy, especially that game that he had on Friday, the 3 home runs, and basically providing the majority of the offense for the Dodgers to come back and win that game. And I'm going to, in the interest of not being completely negative all the time, I will ignore that Edwin Diaz had a little rough, he had a rough 9th inning there.
Whoa, that is so gracious of you to ignore that he had a rough day.
Yeah, I mean, we
You mean
don't
he's
need.
human?
Look, I mean, I get it. There's been a lot of questions about, he's the Dodgers say he's fine, so we have to take them at their word. But the fact that he hasn't pitched in 5 days now, is that right?
Yeah, but
Because because he
they're
didn't.
also he didn't have to end up pitching last night, but it's also like they're trying to rest everybody up that they can because they're about to head to Colorado. And much like they said on the broadcast, the more you can rest up your bullpen in, when you're going to play at the Rockies at Coors Field, the better you're going to do. So if they didn't have to bring him out, better as they're kind of keeping an eye on him.
But back to Max Muncy, and this is why I say there's nothing wrong with the Hall of Very Good, and we don't need to put everybody into the Hall of Fame. I would kill to have the career that Max Muncy has. And Max Muncy's not going to go into the Hall of Fame, right? This is a guy, look, I am like so impressed by this. He got released by the Athletics. This was like, he's done. Nobody thinks this guy's a major leaguer. And now the Dodgers pick him up, and he has, hopefully he stays healthy. He's going to end up being, he's going to pass Ron Say because right now he's 15 home runs behind Ron Say in second all time in terms of the Los Angeles Dodgers home run record. Overall, if you include Brooklyn, Duke Snyder is the all time home run leader. He's got 389. Then Gil Hodges has 361. But Eric Karros is the all time Los Angeles Dodgers home run leader, and that's at 270. then it goes Ron Say, and then it goes Max Muncy. So now I understand, Amy, before you stop me, that this conversation is all null and void because barring injury, the unicorn is probably, by the time everything is said and done, he's going to end up having the record for all time.
Honestly, see, this is where I don't look that. He may, but I'm just enjoying Max Muncy being where he is right now. So
Yeah, but so like I said, for him to have not only the mental strength to go out there and not give up and keep playing, to now he's going to be in the record books of a historic franchise. This is why I'm saying I would kill to have his career. And this is a guy who in a couple of seasons missed a lot of time because he was injured. So
and most of those injuries weren't even his own. Like that one at the end of the season, like right before the
yeah.
postseason when somebody ran into him, not his fault. When he was like guarding, God, I'm thinking in baseball terms. I was like, guarding the 5 spot, guarding third base. I'm speaking in scorebook keeping. Like I said, I'm tired. But even just last year when Kersh was recording his 3,000th strikeout, like he got taken out at third base. Like these things, it wasn't for him like injuring himself. It's like he just gets run into like a freight train all the time.
Look, there was a period when he was healthy, he was a guaranteed 35 home runs a season. So that's why I'm saying, like, the couple of seasons that he lost due to injury, I still think there's an outside chance that he's going to get to Eric Karros. I don't think it's a given, because he still needs like 42 home runs. And I mean, not 40, he needs more than 42. But I don't know how much longer he's going to play. And that's a lot of home runs, when you're getting towards the end of your career. But
especially when you have teams that like you may want to continue playing, and then like you're in the Justin Turner situation where he's got to go play in Tijuana because there's not a spot in the MLB where a team wants him right now.
Do you want to talk about that real quick right now since you mentioned it, or do you want to keep talking about the Dodgers and the Rangers?
What do you want to talk about?
I think that's the other, in the same sense that I would kill to have Max Muncy's career. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Positivity all the time coming from the Prince of Darkness. Justin Turner signing with the Toros of Tijuana, to me, is a perfect example of that dude is playing because he loves baseball. Like, this is a guy who, with the league minimum in Major League Baseball, would be making at least $1 million. When you go play in the Mexican League, like the highest you can get paid per month is in the thousands, right? So it's not like he's doing this to go get paid. It's not like the Mexican League and the Toros de Tijuana are paying him a huge amount of money. Now, he is doing this because he loves playing baseball. Yes, I understand before all you guys chime in. And also, Juan, no major league team will give him a contract. Yes, there is that. But just
but he could just sit it out if he wanted to.
Yeah, like Dick Mountain. Like Dick Mountain was a guy who was playing independent ball. That was somebody who was playing because
is there a field? I'm gonna play. You'll take
exactly. So I think, eventually I think what will happen is the same thing that happened with Matt Kemp. They'll end up signing Justin Turner to a one-day contract so he can retire as a Dodger, and that'll be great. But for now, that guy clearly wants to play, and those are two guys right there, Justin Turner and Max Muncy, who I see down the road will eventually be enshrined in the legends of Dodger baseball. Those are guys that if you grow up in the era, you can clearly say, losing Davey Lopes, and there are certain Dodger players you identify with the Dodgers, and I think that Justin Turner and Max Muncy are two examples of players that you identify with the Dodgers.
And somebody like Kike Hernandez, because you've got him making records for the franchise in the postseason last year. So like things where, like you said, I feel like people underestimate Kike all the time. He's my favorite player because I love what he does on the field. But like people didn't see him, having as many games and postseason games under his belt and all the other stuff that he's accomplishing. But like much like Max Muncy, Justin Turner. Like, these are people who they've had the longevity with the team, so they've been able to accrue some of these stats that make a difference and cement them in the franchise's history.
What else were your takeaways from the Doyers Rangers series?
I mean, obviously the Max Muncy 3 homer night, especially because we did see Diaz struggle a little bit, and then you hear the blown save, and everything on the radio was doom and gloom for a few minutes, and then Max Muncy hits that walk off, and it was like, yes, he's also the winning pitcher, and it was just like, okay, blown save, winning pitcher, you take what you can get. We did see throughout the series, both of them, that Shohei had an on-base streak. I think that eventually ended with one of these games, but he was in
it's still active because he didn't hit last night.
I thought he did not. Let's see.
He got intentionally walked on Tuesday to keep the streak alive.
So we're counting that. Okay.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
That's not the game I was looking at. I mean, technically he got hit by a pitch on Wednesday. So that's the game I was looking at of like, is it wobbly because he got hit by a pitch?
Wednesday was the game he pitched. He didn't hit.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at Monday's game. Holy cow. My God.
So Monday's when he got hit then.
Monday he got hit by a pitch. Yes. And then so are we counting that though?
Yeah, that counts.
He's on base. All right.
That counts.
Okay. And then he did get intentionally walked on Tuesday.
I'm sorry. The intentional walk was the one that counted to extend his streak.
Yeah. So I was thinking Monday, like, did it end? Because he got hit by a pitch in the first inning. He struck out. He ground out in the fourth. He flew out in the sixth. And then he flew out in the eighth.
Because I know this is riveting podcasting, and I know that everybody's going crazy right now with me, going, this guy's so terrible. I'm just confirming it is still active. 48. It's at 48.
40. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I guess technically he is on a base. So yeah. Well then, so that was notable. So thank you for going on that tangent with all of us. Let's see. Jack Dreyer struck out the side for the first time. Like, I know that that's not super exciting in the world of baseball, but I feel like for like some of these young pitchers, like just getting to see their milestones, he did that in the top of the seventh against the Rangers. And it was just, I was listening on the radio at that point, and it was just like, good for him. Good. Like,
good for you.
It makes me so happy for all of them. Here we are. Let's see. I did get to see the rain tarp Saturday and Sunday. So it was out there. They did roll it out, give it some love on Sunday, but they put it back away before the game started. So we didn't actually have any rain where we needed to use it. So
yeah, that's all I was hearing was there's going to be all these storms coming the whole weekend. And by the time you got to the stadium on Sunday, was it raining?
It was sprinkling on my way over, but there wasn't any rain by the time I got there. So they were like doing some stuff on the field with it out in the outfield. Then they rolled it back over the actual diamond, and then they took it, folded it up, and rolled that sucker back up. So no, it didn't actually need to be used, at least like during the game. So initial reports were that we were going to have rain all weekend. So the fact that we didn't have any was great. And then, in that Sunday game, Shohei faces DeGrom for the first time, and first pitch takes him yard. So leadoff home run.
Yeah, I hope everybody's no longer worried, because up until this homestand, he hadn't had an extra base hit at Dodger Stadium, and then he came back home and he changed that real quick. So
yeah, he went back to back, like two games with leadoff home runs. They gave us a stat in the press box, so that was his. Let's see, for 26th career leadoff, and it was his second this year, and the one that was prior was the day before. So good, kudos to him, especially, unfortunately, that was the game that they lost, but, you can't win them all, so.
No, that was just a bad game for them. I mean, the pitchers
just got away from them.
I mean, they were walking a Ranger every inning, and there were
10 walks in that game.
Yeah, there was a lot of walks, and then they were striking out. They had opportunities, and this is why I'm saying, Amie, it's like I don't think they're even playing at their best, and they're still winning series. And so that's really just got to be deflating to everyone else. But again, the key is to win the series, and they did that in the first two games of this series. Anything else that you want to talk about with the Rangers and the Doyers?
Not much. Just it was good to see some of our old former teammates. I say teammates like we played with them, but Corey Seager was there. I got to see Jock Peterson. His family was out on the field, so it has grown since the last time he's been here.
Corey Seager got a really nice applause, didn't he?
Yeah. So it was good to see some familiar faces and, get ready to go into the Mets series. Especially, I was seeing a lot of people reposting the Francisco Alvarez. I guess he had made some comments in February about the Mets roster being just as good as the Dodgers, if not better, or something like that. And those, I always feel bad because those things don't age well. And then people rub it in their faces. And it's like, you know what? He said that in the moment. And also, what is he supposed to say? Well, maybe we're almost as good. Like, come on. Like, again, give the guy some grace.
Well, I mean, the Mets are going through it. We talk about getting teams at the right time, and we talked about that with the Azulejos, with all the injuries that they got. Now, yes, the Metropolitans are missing Juan Soto, but even without Juan Soto, they're really struggling to score runs.
Weren't they on
Francisco,
they were at like 20 something innings without, God, I can't even, I'm so bad at stats right now. I should have written down more, but like they had gone, did they get shut out or something like
they
that
were
over the
averaging a little.
last several that they lost?
Yeah, in their losing streak, I think it's up to 6 now. Their 6-game losing streak. They're averaging a little bit
You
over a
don't
run.
you don't have
Run.
to correct us, anybody. We're just
They're averaging a little more than a run a game, and it's hard to win
Mhm.
games like that. But look, I think the Metropolitans pitchers did a great job of trying to keep them in the game, but you still got to score runs to win games, and
Which the Dodgers know too. When they struggle, a lot of times it's like even when their pitching's great, it's offensive struggles that are the ones that get them. And you want to hit every guy up there wants to like do some damage for his team. And when you can't just put it together, like it's rough. It doesn't matter what team you're on.
yeah, I'm glad that Yamamoto doesn't take it personally that he doesn't get any run support. I
I
mean, there he goes. That poor guy was pitching a hell of a game, and
Every single time.
yeah, he just does not, and it's just a weird thing, right? It's just a weird thing because there's other Dodger pitchers who aren't pitching as well as Yamamoto, and they get the luxury of 10 runs and all that stuff. Poor Yamamoto's pitching his ass off, and he only gets 1 run of support, and it's like, come on.
Before we get into Yama, can we just talk about Justin Robleski on Monday? My God.
Absolutely.
Like, what a gem. 8 innings. Like, he was so efficient. I think he came out and 90 pitches, 64 for strikes. Like, just it was beautiful to watch. Like, we were literally watching him. It was like 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. Even the one where like somebody finally got a hit, I think it was in the top of the 5th, and it was like next at bat, it was a double play. So it was just, God, it was really beautiful to watch.
Did you hear his quote at the end of the game?
No, what was it?
When he was like, well, they had asked him about pitching a complete game, and he had only 90 pitches, and I get it. It's still early in the season, but complete games are so rare.
Mhm.
And so he had said, look, anytime you have a chance to complete a game, you want to do that. I am curious, like, because I felt he was pitching fantastic that whole
Mhm.
game. Maybe send him out there in the top of the 9th, and if he starts the first sign that he's showing he's tired, pull him.
You
But
do that though, but then you get all the other people who are like, "Why would you send him out one more inning?" Like, like you can't make everybody happy.
yeah, sometimes I can't make rhyme or reason of their decisions because there were times where I thought they were going to pull Yamamoto and they let him go out there for another inning and he ended up pitching over 100 pitches and Yamamoto's pitched a lot,
I
and
think it's
so
also getting some guys work too. Like you don't want to overtax your bullpen, but you also don't want to have them underperform. So it's like it's not going to hurt to get another guy out there. And so far it's a shutout. Hopefully they can hold it down. And so I don't know. I mean, I get, yes, you want to have the complete game. The baseball nerd in me would love to see that, but also it's a long season. Like I'm also not trying to push anybody, especially because we just started. They're just coming out of spring training and still building up their pitch counts. Yeah, he only pitched 90, but like let's not push it. I'm more on the cautious side of like, you know what? He did good. Let somebody else take over in the ninth, and you know what? We can try again another day.
I totally understand that argument, but I also feel like allowing a pitcher to complete a game is a reward
Yeah,
for how
I can
they've
see that.
pitched, you know,
Yeah,
how
give him
they pitched that
a
game.
little ego boost.
But
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, it's not the end of the world. I just thought it was interesting too because there's that feeling, oh, they don't care when you hear come out of his mouth. Yeah, I wanted to finish the game, but
I think a lot of things can be true at once though. Like, yeah, he would have wanted to finish it, but I think he also understands the mindset of the organization. And as we've heard from a lot of these guys, they're all in. So that, okay, would I have liked to? Yes. But if they're pulling me, like, I gotta respect what they're doing. And you know what? We'll see what happens next time.
what else
I
do you
will
got with the Metropolitans?
so in that same game, it did kind of get a little bit like memeified over the top, I think it was the no, bottom of the sixth inning, where in the midst of Shohei's at bat, we see Francisco Alvarez all of a sudden jump up, kind of run forward. We find out that he's trying to beat the pitch clock. But in the interim of that, you have Shohei jumping back with this wild look on his face, the umpire darting back into the right, and then you hear Joe Davis on the broadcast with an "Oh God," and it was just like, what a weird way to beat the pitch clock. Like, just maybe at that point take the violation. But Shohei ended up posting some of the pictures online. MLB, Jump, everybody was posting shots of kind of what's happening with the Francisco Alvarez just kind of like jumping forward and trying to call time to institute a mound visit, which is just a really weird at bat.
It was because I don't blame Shohei because I think Shohei was reacting to Alvarez,
Mm-hmm.
and clearly Kimbrel wasn't looking at him. So I guess Alvarez felt the need to do something super dramatic to get his attention. I
It
didn't
was very
understand.
cartoon-esque.
Yeah, I didn't understand the need to have to go in front of the plate to catch that ball, and I think that's what freaked out Shohei.
And
Like,
the
why don't you?
umpire, because the umpire, if you watch him, he darts too, where it's just like he doesn't want to get hit if Shohei's moving out of the way.
Yeah, you're right. It was just an absolutely weird play where I was just like, it felt a little much. I didn't know that we needed to do all of that, but whatever.
We didn't. I think more of the like, to me, it was just funny, the aftermath and seeing like Shohei make fun of himself, and again just getting to see the human side, because I feel like social media was just like everybody was the collective like, what the hell? But here we are.
What
So
else? What
like
else
you
do you got?
said, Yamamoto, he ended up pitching 7 2/3 innings. Our guys ended up scoring 2 walks ended up coming around, so in our favor, and we won that game 2-1. So like that was a rough one. It was a total low scoring game. We did see Yamamoto make that leaping catch at first base. That they, again, a lot of meme moments this weekend into
I,
the week.
I thought that was a great game. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed
You
watching that
like the
game.
low scoring games though, the pitchers duels.
But the reason why they were low scoring games is because both pitchers were really good. I mean, Nolan McLean, I'm very interested to see how his career progresses because were you at that game? No, you weren't at that game, right?
Tuesday I was at nope. I was not there. I was
So,
at home.
like, if you're watching that game on TV, that dude looks like he's throwing wiffle balls. The amount of movement on his pitches, like he literally, the pitch is starting at one side of the plate, and by the time it crosses the plate, it's on the other side. And so, my hat's off to all those guys that had to face off against him because it did not look like it was an enjoyable at bat against Nolan. So, and it was two pitchers with like two different styles. So for me, I loved that game, and I'm glad that the Dodgers ended up winning that game. But that to me was really like, ooh, the definition of a pitcher's duel. Really well done.
Yeah, lots of strikeouts on both sides. So the Mets ended up striking out the Dodgers 9 times in that game. 8 of those belonged to Nolan. And then the Dodgers struck out the Mets, it looks like 11 times, and 7 of those were Yoshinobu's. Like they were kind of trucking through that game. So but the Dodgers were still able to scrape something together and, pull out the win. And then they kind of nail in the coffin on Wednesday. Good grief. So Shohei pitched in that game. He did not DH for the first time because he got hit by a pitch, and like we talked about in that Monday game, and you could see it, like it hit him on the shoulder. So he was just going to be pitching on Wednesday. So Dalton Rushing came in and he was the DH in that game, and I found out too late, so I didn't get to move him onto my fantasy roster. So I missed out on all of those runs.
I want to give some plaudits to Dalton Rushing because at the beginning of the season, I have to admit, I had some doubts. I was just like,
Really?
yeah, because the way he ended last season, I was really worried about his bat. And, for the most part, I feel like the Dodgers have really hit with their pitchers, their minor league pitchers. It's the position players that haven't panned out. But, it took Andy Paquez a while, and boom, he's now seemed to really solidified. Of course, there's still a lot left in the season. But I was just like, and to be fair to Dalton Rushing, it wasn't a lot of time also that he had last year. But
Not a lot of time, but they also limited what he was doing. He was like an everyday player in the minors, and then you bring him up, and because you've got Will Smith doing so well, like he is only getting limited playing time. So he's got to adjust to that too, in addition to being up on the show.
But seeing him this year at the plate, he looks super confident. And if this is something, and I don't know if the unicorn's going to want. I'm very curious to see if the unicorn is in the lineup tomorrow in Colorado, because I am curious in terms of that shoulder, because Dave Roberts had said the reason why they didn't hit him was the only way that shoulder was going to stay loose was if he pitched only. So I thought, when it first happened, when he got hit, I didn't think it was a big deal. You see players get hit all the time.
No, he flinched, and he was still rubbing out, like he was still like wringing out that arm when he was down at first base.
So I am very curious to see if he is in the lineup, but the question was already asked yesterday, and I think it helps that Dalton Rushing had the game that he had. But if you're going to get this level of production from Dalton Rushing, maybe it would be beneficial to have Shohei not hit on those days that he pitches, to give, because
honestly, to give him that extra rest so he's not exhausted.
Exactly, Amy. That's the first time. For the first time this year, I feel like he's looked tired.
It doesn't mean he's any less of a two-way player. He can still do it here and there. They did ask Rushing that, like, about him filling in at DH, and he said, well, I'm not getting used to it, I'll tell you that, but he told me to hit a homer for him, and I guess it worked out in the end. So, I mean, it's an option at least.
Yeah, I'm curious if they will do that. Obviously, like I said, it helps if Dalton Rushing keeps hitting. But I am curious if they will go ahead and do that. But good for
10
him.
10 strikeouts for Shohei yesterday. Jeez.
Because I mean, if anything, confidence is so important to a major leaguer, and it just looks like Dalton Rushing is really confident at the plate right now, having this success that he's had. So hopefully it continues, because what a great problem to have, right? In the sense you have Will Smith and you have Dalton Rushing.
Can you please just take a day off from one position, Shohei, so we can get Dalton in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. What else do you got with the Metropolitans?
I mean, I think that's pretty much it. We did see Hae-Sung Kim get his first home run, I think at home. I'm looking at I think my notes here are a little bit wrong. And then we saw Kyle Tucker hit his first at home. And I think it was, who was it? Carson Benj lost his glove on top of the wall trying to catch it.
I thought when I saw the glove on top of the wall.
Did you think his hand popped off?
No. When I saw the glove on top of the wall, I thought the ball was in the glove. And it wasn't until I saw the replay from the other
Wouldn't it
angle.
Technically still be a home run?
Well, that's what I asked my wife. I looked at my wife and I went, it's still technically, I think, a home run because he didn't hold on to his glove. But I mean, it didn't happen. But I really went the way
it would have made it interesting. That's for sure.
The way that glove landed on the wall, and I was like, oh my gosh, is the ball in the glove? But I saw the other angle. But yeah, I think I'm on the record to believe if that did happen, it would still be considered a home run.
You just it flings off. Does it
Well,
count as a catch first, or is it a chicken and egg thing? Like, was it in
no,
the glove
because
before it went on top of the wall, or did it like, I don't know.
I have seen when outfielders jump, they catch it in the glove and then the glove falls off, and that is considered a home run. It falls off on the other side of the wall.
Well,
I've just never seen one where a ball's in a glove on top of the wall. But
yesterday was not the day to find that out.
Exactly.
Next time, perhaps. Through all of that, we were navigating the stadium through a multitude of giveaways. So
you want to talk giveaways now? Because
did you have something else on the?
No. We can talk giveaways because I feel like giveaways have become not only. I mean, we've been talking about giveaways at Dodger Stadium all season, but it feels like
because
giveaways.
There's one like every day.
Yeah, but I feel like giveaways now are all the rage in all of Major League Baseball, not just with the Dodgers.
I think it's also a return on your ticket investment because I don't know how prices are in other places, but we're seeing like cost of living is going up everywhere. The economy is kind of like in the trash, and we're all on the negative receiving end of that. So if I'm going to pay all this money to go to a baseball game, take my time out, buy food, bring food in, whatever, I want to return on my investment. So
where do you want to start with giveaways? Because how many giveaways there were?
So there was Ohtani on Friday. So that was, I think, his first bobblehead night. Okay. I stayed home and I decided to watch the splashdown of the Artemis 2 because I was not going to navigate that crowd. And then Monday we had the Hello Kitty. Tuesday was that was like a buy up. So it was I think there were a couple of buy ups because Saturday night was teacher's night. Tuesday was like healthcare.
Those are the special tickets.
Those are the special tickets. So not really like the stadium wide. And then obviously Wednesday was Jackie Robinson Day. So that was the stadium wide jersey giveaway.
Now, so I know that Jackie Robinson, they had 51,000. Was that considered a sellout?
I'm not sure because I think I've seen stuff more geared around like way over 52,000.
Yeah.
So I'm spoiled because they'll usually tell us when we're in the press box if it's a sellout or not. So I don't know what their threshold for judging that is.
So I know that for the Jackie Robinson, the crowd was 51. The announced attendance was 51,000. Was the Hello Kitty a sellout?
I don't know if it was a sellout, but it was a nightmare. It was chaos.
All right.
Let's be fair. I hate going to Hello Kitty night every year. I have gone the last 2 years for a friend because I love them.
Why are you a xenophobe? Why do you hate Hello Kitty?
I'm not being a xenophobe. I just don't want to. I don't go to the Shohei Ohtani nights either because I don't like the giveaway crowds. Like not the crowd themselves. I don't like fighting
because it's amateur hour
to get it's chaos. And like we already have talked about trying to get into the stadium. Like I have early entry. We have, as you mentioned, people are paying for that access. Well, early entry, even though it's set up on our season ticket holder email, it was not set up on Monday. So they just let everybody in at the same time. So screw me for getting there early. Oh yeah. It was chaos. And so because there were so many people there, they ended up, early entry, not only at the parking gates, but we have it at one specific gate that we go to for season ticket holders. And then because the crowds were so chaotic, they just started letting everybody in. And I'm not trying to make it an elite, like you guys shouldn't get in when we get in, but it is a perk of what we pay for to be there. And if we're all going to get in at the same time, I'm just going to plan my day differently. So that's the only reason I'm irritated. If I'm planning to get there earlier because of my access and we're all going to get in at the same time, I'm going to take my day a little more leisurely then. So it was I don't know if people didn't get the giveaway or not. Cause me and my crew, we all got in and we got ours, but it was just chaos there.
So, I saw that people were lining up outside of Dodger Stadium the way they would line up for Shohei bobbleheads.
Hello Kitty, I don't know if you've been. Hello Kitty night is evidently a huge night. I didn't know this even until last year because I just don't go. But
I've been to Hello. So the thing is, there's a lot of people in my life that love Hola Gatito. Mm-hmm. And so even to the point where my sister was like, if I buy a ticket, can you go get me the hoodie?
How much do you
And
love your sister?
exactly. And this was at the beginning of the season. And I said, do you see how much the tickets are going for that game? And then she's like, let me think about it. Sunday, while I was walking out of the movie, I went to go see The Great Escape at the beautiful Frida Cinema on Sunday. I'm walking out of the movie and I get my text. Hey, can you go to the game tomorrow and get me the hoodie? And I was like, this is what I was like, you don't remember. I'm babysitting your children tomorrow. I can't go to the game. And then she's just like, oh, sorry, mom brain. Yeah, there's a lot of people that love it. And I used to go before with my sister. We would go, and yeah, it would get crazy. It would get a little crowded, but nothing like what I saw for this past Monday.
Even last year was bad. That was my first year going, and from what I remember of years past, in the past it used to be, I think, a buy up. And then a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, they started doing 2 nights. One would be a buy up, one would be a stadium wide giveaway. And again, I would avoid both nights, even if I wasn't doing the buy up. But now that they've made at least one of them a stadium wide, it is utter chaos. And kudos to all the people who love it, because the joy that is there for the people who adore something like this, like people were wearing costumes, clothing, bows in their hair, like it really is enjoyable for them. That's not my thing. If you have a Jaws night, like if there's a Jaws Dodgers night, oh, you better believe, like you and me, we're going dressed up, whatever. Hello Kitty is just not really my jam. So I don't find it as enjoyable to fight through crowds for something that I don't care as much for.
So what time did you actually get into the stadium? What time did you go through the gates?
I
Probably what,
got,
5:10?
I still got in, I think at like 5, I think I got in at 5:05, but because they didn't do so normally if you're early entry, they put us in a specific lot so we can just walk over and we can get to the early entrance. Because that didn't happen, I ended up parking they wrapped me around the stadium, and I was almost by where I don't know if the Uber lot is still there, but like I was near the Vince Scully entrance. So I had to hike around from where I was parked on the ridge all the way. I was hugging basically the right field side of the stadium. So back from top deck, almost middle top deck, left top deck, all the way around to make it to we have to enter at the left field pavilion. I barely made it there. I made it 10 minutes hiking around the stadium, and my calves are still killing me.
My calves are burning.
They are still burning. I think I got in around 5:05, but they were already letting people in, and everybody else shouldn't have been in till like 5:10.
How long were the lines at that point?
They were bleeding into the parking lot, which is why I think they let everybody in, because I think it was a safety concern. So that's where it leads us to some of our conversation. Sorry, guys, if you're like, oh my God, stop talking about the crowds. But I think that's where it is kind of a safety concern, because people are getting there earlier and earlier. They want to get the giveaway. They don't want to miss out on it. There's only 40,000. And so then it does become okay, well, we really shouldn't be letting you guys into the parking lot till 4:40, but you're all here, and now you're backing up freeways. You're backing up streets. Media, players can't get in because some of these streets are 1-lane streets. And then so those start letting in early. Well, now you've got people spilling into parking lots, which is now a safety hazard, no matter how many people on the little microphones are like, hey guys, wrap around the side, stay on this side, stay out of the parking lot. And so because of these safety hazards, it's almost forcing the issue that people have to be let in earlier just to vent the situation that's happening.
So Chase, I don't know if you're a new listener, Chase, or if you are, welcome. Thank you very much. He sent me a message saying, Juan, why they know that Hello Kitty, Hola Gatito is one of the more popular nights. Why don't they treat Hola Gatito the same way they treat Shohei and just give it to everybody? And look, this is I want to give props to the Doyers here, because they have stepped up their promotional giveaway game in terms of their quality. Like, I always used to go on Dodger hoodie night because, hey, I get to go to the game and I get a hoodie out of it. But the last time I think I went, which was a couple of years ago, the quality of the hoodie, I was like, damn, this is a really nice hoodie. And I remember
they're even better now. That Hola Gatito, the little bow on the side, I thought it was just going to be like screen printed. It's embroidered onto the hoodie.
So is this crazy to say this, Amie? All right. Give it to
Yes,
everybody.
no, I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're gonna
Give
say.
it to everybody. And then you know what I would do too? Maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month later, I would sell those same hoodies in the stadium. So
So
then those who didn't get one will have an they're going to print money with those hoodies.
100 because people will absolutely buy if I don't have to go to eBay to buy it and I can buy
Yeah.
it at a fixed price. I mean, that's what we've been saying for a while, right? But the challenge is, and I think a lot of people erroneously say this, they're like, well, the Dodgers are paying for this. Well, technically it's the sponsors.
Right.
So you've got to have a sponsor that signs on for like, all right, 40,000, that's our whatever. We're getting a tax credit for that. I don't know how that works on the back end. But now you've got to get that sponsor to agree to, okay, we're not just going to do 40,000. We need you to do at least another 15,000 more. Or in your case, if we're going to sell them and we're really going to make some money, maybe do another 20,000. To me, it feels like if you're going to write it off and you have the funds and you know people are going to go wild for it, maybe you don't do it for every giveaway. But like, obviously the Hello Kitty nights, even the hoodie nights and things like that, you know that people are going to be there and you're getting your brand out there. So even as a sponsor, like we've talked about before, you're getting the visibility. And to your point, yeah, sell them in the stadium. People are gonna buy them. But I don't know if that does something to the sponsored status of it at that point.
I would do the same thing they did with Mr. Cartoon. Do you remember when Mr. Cartoon did those jerseys? And they had a very limited run the first time, and it sold out. Like at that point, you couldn't there were certain players you couldn't get right, and then they did a second run of it. And I think that's what they should do with these popular giveaways, and maybe work something out with the sponsor or whatever. Or maybe at this point, like I said, if the Dodgers invested themselves in making these hoodies, I think
we buy the balance, so then there's no tax implications or whatever there
yeah,
could be on the back end. So these are the ones we can sell.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's definitely a way to go because there's also they have gotten better in previous years because I think we both had people reach out to us where it's like, oh, but you see all these people with like 4 and 5 of them in their hand or 10 of them and they're walking out to their cars to put them in. And in years past, you have been able to be like, oh, hey, I bought, 3. I have 3 tickets. And then they would give you 3, even if you were the only one who could show up. Hey, sorry, I was going to bring my wife and kids and, they couldn't make it, but I still need to get the giveaway. I have the tickets. Now it is a body. You've got to have a body per ticket or they will not give you a giveaway. The way some people have gotten around that has been, all right, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to come back out. They can't really stop you from doing that. So barring them, I don't know how they police that, to be quite honest, but there's always going to be loopholes. That's why we've had scalpers for years. But there were some videos that went out and then some got pulled down. I don't know the full story on them, but there are going to be some situations where, again, I think that's where we just give grace. If somebody's gaming the system, have the day you deserve. Karma's going to come around. Like, we also don't know their situation. Maybe they have people at home and this is the one giveaway that they can get and they're bringing them home to their kids. Or in one of the cases, somebody reported, again, I have not substantiated it, but some guy, they were supposed to have a bunch of kids come down. The bus didn't end up working out. And however he worked it out, this guy came to pick up supposedly all of these hoodies for the kids. And again, that's where, are there going to be people who game the system and go sell them all on eBay? Yes. Unfortunately, we live in the world that we live in. But I think with the way that they have cracked down on it in the last 2 years, it does cut that down significantly. So
that in particular, that story that you're referencing, the way the story is, and again, I don't think it's been substantiated, is that the LAUSD had a bus scheduled for these kids to go to the game, but because of the strike, the bus was canceled. So this person, and shouts out to our loyal listener, Pablo, who sent us the video, this person went in and was going to get all the hoodies for the kids. And if that's true, I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with that, Amie. I mean, he's doing it for the kids. It sucks that the kids missed out going to the game because they didn't have transportation. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. And I'm sure people would have a problem if it was a guy who was selling it for profit, but what are you going to do? He's not breaking a crime. I mean, he's not breaking the law,
right.
know?
And that's where it's like benefit of the doubt because we don't know anybody's story. Because I saw that story spun in a very negative light until somebody came out and said, no, it's for the kids. And so, like, yes, are there people who are doing negative things out there? Absolutely. And you know what? But you don't know. Maybe this is a way that they make money for their kids. Or maybe this is the person who, like, their whole family, we know there's a lot of stuff going on with ICE, undocumented, people who are working here, dreamers, everything. Maybe they can't get off work because so many people in their family work, have multiple jobs, and that one person is going out and they're willing to go out, come back in and get it. And that's the thing that they're going to give to their kids later, and they don't have the time to go to a game. Yeah, like, is that far-fetched? Is it maybe mostly untrue and people are just assholes? Maybe. But at the end of the day, like, we don't know anybody's story. And so that's also kind of like, yeah, it does irritate me in some cases, but like, we mind our own business. We all try to do our best in our situations. And, that's all we can do.
There goes our rating.
Oh, you already blew it earlier. So we're good.
What did I say?
You said something earlier.
I mean, I'm not doubting it. You're probably right. I did.
The one time I say something.
No, look, all I'm saying is a few years ago, I took advantage of that. I went, you could never do what I did this. I think this was probably during the McCord era because you couldn't do it now. I actually went to a Dodger game and I didn't have a ticket. And I thought to myself,
you've shared this story before.
Okay, so I don't want to tell this story again then. But let me ask you this then. If this was your first time going to a Dodger game, and this is probably a casual, would you think going to Hello Kitty night and experiencing all that madness would sour you on the experience of going to Dodger Stadium?
I think that's perspective, because at the end of the day, this is what the team is right now, and all you can do is accept what it is. Well, you don't have to accept it. You can do whatever you want. But like, you also know what you're getting in for. This is a back-to-back team. Everybody knows prices have gone up. It's hard to get into a game. So like, if you're going and you're expecting it to be a smooth process, like, I was irritated and I knew what I was in for. So like but that's on everybody. Like, you can choose to have that ruin your experience, or you know what, maybe that was just a bum game. Maybe I shouldn't have gone on Hello Kitty night. And then you try it again another night. The sad reality is that for a lot of these giveaways, we are having to get there earlier and earlier. And this is just what we're experiencing. It's all cyclical. I don't want to say if, when, whatever, but if the Dodgers were not in this position, if they, like, we were in like the McCourt area, people aren't going to be buying tickets. So it's not going to be an issue at that point. So like I said, all of this economic cycles, whatever, it all comes back around. We're in the height of it right now. And these are the issues we have to deal with.
Giveaways are the name of the game. I remember
I'm trying to go to the nights that don't have giveaways because I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, that used to be me. I remember when they gave out the World Series ring, I think was it the 2020 team? Is that the first time they did the replica?
Yeah, because it was like a mixed bag of, like, I think it was all of the rings, and you didn't get the year you wanted.
And I just remember how long the lines were even before the gates opened.
And that's every day now. That's all the time.
Exactly.
This is our new normal. And honestly, like, to your point, like, is the giveaway thing catching on? I think it is across. I think this is an MLB issue now. Like, you have the White Sox. I think I sent you a story last week, and then you sent me one on the Padres this week. The White Sox on August 11th, they're having a Pope hat giveaway, and it's a buy. So for them, it's like a buy up. So they just posted something last week saying, due to overwhelming fan demand, all fans will get a giveaway. So originally it was a specialty night purchase. Now they're saying those who already purchased those tickets will receive the hat plus an additional item. So they're not going to get dinged for their buy-up ticket. And Brooks Boyer, who is the White Sox chief revenue and marketing officer, he said, the fans have spoken. And unlike some of our more limited quantity promotions, the White Sox Pope hat is one we believe all fans should have the opportunity to take home. That's where the Dodgers have a little bit more leverage, because they know if 1,000 people decide to, like, we're just not going to go. Okay, well, 1,000 people are waiting to step into that and buy those tickets. Other teams don't necessarily have the problem that the Dodgers have.
I already called my boys in Chicago and said, because I want the Pope hat, but they haven't I don't think they've released an image yet of what it's going to look like,
I
right?
mean, it's a Pope hat. If you want, I'll make you one.
Oh, you
We'll
know
just
what?
create one.
I think
I
they
feel
did.
like they put an image out, but you had
They did. I just found the image, and it really is, because the other thing that I was talking about. So I told my boys, I'm like, hey, give me that hat. I want that hat. It really is a Pope hat. It is not a baseball hat. It is a Pope hat with the White Sox logo on it.
hey, you do you, buddy.
And I'm telling you right now, Amy, the White Sox are going to get, I guarantee they're going to get grief for this. The Catholics will come out and protest them for doing this.
Yeah,
Watch.
but for every protest, there's going to be other people who want the hats. So I mean, again, it's all cyclical. It's if you don't want it, don't get it. If you want it, go get it. Like this is life. There are so many ups
Damn,
and downs.
this
Like
sucks
just do what
because
makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
the giveaways in August, on August 11th, and I'm going to be in Chicago 1 month earlier. And
Sucks to be
I would
you,
love,
buddy.
because let me tell you, the Chicago White Sox Stadium has top 5 in food. Their food is much better than Dodger Stadium's food. I've been on the record of saying this. If you combine Wrigley Field, just the stadium and the field, and you combine it with the White Sox food, that's a top 5 stadium right there. Hands down,
Nice.
top 5 stadium. I mean, the food at the White Sox Stadium is fantastic. This sucks. I could have been there to get my
Okay.
Pope hat.
Do you want to share the Padres thing that you sent me?
The Padres one. So the Padres were giving a puffer vest, and they were giving out 40,000. And this is really more in defense of the Dodgers, right? Everybody says Dodger fans are just a bunch of hoodlums, that all they do is fight and all that stuff. There were fights breaking out for this puffer vest that the show pods were giving out. And Amy, I got to tell you, I don't know if you've seen it. I think it looks like a cool vest. I wouldn't, if I was a fan of the show pods, I would want that. And so what the show pods did, because clearly it looks like not everybody got one, I don't know how they're going to do this, Amy.
The
but
fights that broke out, like there were some viral videos going around.
Yeah, and the Dodgers weren't playing
Somebody
the
shouting,
show pods.
"There are kids here! There are kids here!"
Exactly. The Dodgers weren't playing the show pods, so nobody can blame this and say it was Dodger fan fighting there. These were show pods fans fighting over this puffer vest, right? And so my thing is this: the show pods put out, basically anybody who didn't get the vest, they have to fill out this survey and they'll get it to them.
I don't know if it's anybody. So the thing you sent me, they sent it out to a season ticket member. So I don't know if it's going out to everybody. I don't know if we can confirm that, if like everybody got it, or if they're only sending it out to their season ticket members.
Oh, I was assuming that you had to show proof that you had a ticket to the game.
Well, so this email, it was the email that's been posted online was to a Chase. So I'm assuming this Chase gentleman has shared his email, but it said, "Thank you for your loyalty as a Padres."
I wonder if it's the same guy who emailed me.
You know, there might be more than one in the world, buddy.
Okay, I see what you're doing there.
But so it just says, "Thank you for your loyalty as a Padres season ticket member and for joining us at tonight's game against blah, blah, blah. We sincerely apologize for the extended wait times fans experienced during tonight's Puffer Vest All Fan giveaway. We hope you were able to receive tonight's giveaway item. However, if you waited in line and didn't receive a Puffer Vest, please complete the survey, blah, blah, blah. We intend to make this right by issuing members a one-time rain check due to the circumstances." So I think it might be a season ticket member thing that they're trying to make. I'm not saying that that's necessarily true, but based on the wording of what was posted online, it may not have gone to everybody as a whole. Because I don't know how they would even get people's information to send that out to everybody unless they're going to go through a ballpark app. So this looks like it may be for season ticket members. We could be wrong, but that's just going off of what was posted on Twitter.
I think that's more manageable. If they're doing,
you want to keep your season ticket members happy because
I was really curious. I was like, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. I remember I bought a special ticket once for, I think it was like a Mexican Heritage Night jersey, and they sold out, and then they sent me an email saying that I would get it at a later date.
Because you probably did the buy up because it's a promotional.
Yeah. So giveaways are all the rage. I can't wait to see what the next giveaway story is going to be, Amy, because
I'm good. I'm full up on giveaway stories for the rest of the season.
But again, to me, I guess this is a good thing, right? Because we're talking about how much people, regardless of whatever reason, people want to be at Dodger Stadium. And this next story that we're going to cover, I think I find it interesting that I've seen this story a couple of times because I feel like this has been going on for years, like since Dodger Stadium has been built. And that is these articles that are being written about the dating scene at
Oh,
Dodger Stadium, in particular in the pavilions. And look, have you ever been on a date with someone at a baseball game, Amy?
no, I go by myself.
I think it's
I mean,
it
I'm not
actually.
saying I wouldn't. I haven't. I usually
I
go with
think
my gals or by myself.
there was a therapist, I think, that said that that was the best place to actually go on a date with someone because you don't have the pressure of constantly looking at each other because you're looking at the field and stuff like that. Why are you rolling your eyes at me?
I feel like that therapist is taking a very male perspective on that as a female who has been held captive on dates in some cases, even just for safety. We're gonna meet for coffee. I don't need to be captive for 3 hours where I can't leave or I have to lose the price I paid for my ticket. So
I don't
we're
think I would
going
do
for
a first
coffee
date.
first. Yeah.
I don't think I would do a first date. I think you're absolutely right in your approach. You would have to have a coffee date. You would have to feel that person out and be, is this someone that I can carry a conversation with? Then I would build up to take
That's
them
that's gotta be a
on it.
work up to kind of date. And then yeah, okay, cool. I mean, yeah, that's the epitome, like, right? That's the dream. You have your person, they want to go watch baseball.
But I feel like, especially now that Dodger Stadium has become the ultimate hangout spot. I mean, there's been times, Amy, where you and I have gone to games and we just stand under the pavilion, even though we have tickets for seats.
That's what we did
We
last night. I was there with my baseball family, and because we were spread out across the stadium, like we just stood in the standing room only and watched the game from there.
Yeah, especially now with what they've done with the center field plaza, I just feel
Mhm.
like it is just the ultimate hangout spot. And baseball is the sport that allows you to do that, where you can have a conversation with people and still pay attention to the game. There are other sports that don't lend themselves to that, but I just find it fascinating that I keep seeing this story pop up about the dating scene. And I'm just like, hey, you guys are late to this. This has been happening for years at Dodger Stadium, that there are people that meet, especially in the pavilion. The pavilion just seems like it's the ultimate hangout spot. Go out there and have a party out there.
I mean, yeah, if that's your jam, like there are groups who are catering evenings to that. The Dodgers have a night. Those two things are separate and they're happening separate evenings, but the Dodgers are having a date night coming up soon. So, I mean, if that's your jam, definitely something to check out. I'm more of the, like, I want to keep score. I want to focus on the game. So not saying I wouldn't want to go there on a date, but I'm like, I got my radio in. I'm keeping my score. Like we could talk. We could talk between innings.
Damn. All right. Next story. This is a great story. Again, I am not the Prince of Darkness. We're focusing on positivity in this
These
episode.
are beyond the game stories.
But I immediately, and this was Tuesday's game, right? Against the
Yep.
Metropolitans.
Mental or not mental. It was healthcare workers night.
Yeah, healthcare worker night, and Alex Vesia had invited the people that worked. Was it the maternity ward or was it a specific
This is your story,
unit?
pal.
I guess.
I know it was the people who were.
They were at the hospital. They worked at the
taking care of.
hospital where Alex Vesia and his wife were. I hate. I don't know how to even phrase what happened, but
They were in the hospital.
they were in the hospital in terms of the birth of their child. Is it fair to say that, or I don't know, her
This
pregnancy?
is all you, bro. This is
Yeah.
all you.
I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to be
No.
sensitive to the phrasing of this. I don't
I
want to
would just say the healthcare workers were there to support. them
Okay,
on
I'll
Tuesday.
say it this way: the healthcare workers that supported the Vesia family during their pregnancy, he invited them to the game, and I thought that was really cool because before the game, they got to take a picture with him. They were wearing Dodgers shirts that had a little heart with the initials of their daughter. And then I thought the perfect, and they were all in a suite. And I thought the perfect ending was the fact that Vesia got to close out that game, and they show a shot of all of them in the suite just going crazy. I thought, good on, I don't know who made it happen. Good on Vesia for inviting them, good on the Dodgers for having them. But I thought that was just a really great moment where the Vesia family made themselves completely vulnerable and reached out to thank those people who were trying to help them during probably one of the worst moments in their life. And it was
He
just,
even said he was gonna he's like, I'm gonna cry answering
yeah,
this. And it was just like, this is the stuff that I love. Like I love these human moments where we at least get to see the positivity in the game. That was like you said, a crushing moment in their lives, but they got to share something positive with this group of people on the other side of it.
yeah. And so if you miss that moment, I'm sure it's probably going to end up being on one of those backstage Dodgers, or you can probably watch it online. But yeah, when he was getting interviewed by Kirsten, he was getting emotional. But I thought that was a really great moment. Another,
I was just gonna say, on the other side of being vulnerable, like there's a situation. Jarren Duran's name is back in social media again, and it's unfortunate. I don't like how he dealt with it, but I also understand in the moment sometimes you have a reaction to something before you can think better of it. But he had yet another situation where a fan, as he was at bat, running out, trying to make it to first, and somebody told him to kill himself again, and so he flipped off the fan. Um, Obviously, in hindsight, are there better ways to deal with it? Yeah, maybe don't flip them off. Maybe go in, tell security, hey, you need to remove that person, or whatever. But the quote that he had said after the game was, that kind of stuff is still kind of triggering. It happens. Honestly, it's my fault for talking about my mental health. I kind of brought in the haters, and that just makes me so sad for him. I don't agree with all of his choices, but at the same time, this guy was so vulnerable, and he's putting a face and a name to mental health. And I'm not going to say nobody's perfect. I mean, I have my own mental health issues that we are all struggling to be the best version of ourselves. And for somebody to regret being vulnerable and sharing to hopefully have a positive effect on other people, to know that they're not alone, to feel that they should not have shared because people are using that against him. Like, shame on the people who are saying things like that. I already hate smack talking in the game. And there's a lot of stuff going on. I think Foul Territory was even saying, these people are humans. Like, what are we doing?
and I just want to add that the game was in Minnesota, so it wasn't. This wasn't like it was Red Sox home fan was saying this. This was, and to your point, Amie, if you are the opposing team comes to your stadium, I don't think you're obligated to have to say horrible things to the other player just to support your team. I just, there's no defense to this. And yeah, it's one of those things that really sucks, that it's really easier said than done, right? To say, oh, don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you. But this isn't the first time that this dude has heard this. And like, if it keeps happening, how do you tell someone to, I mean, I think it's really hard to become numb to something.
It is, especially in the moment, and like you said, triggered. To help sharing in some of these things. Like, I deal with my own stuff. I have complex PTSD, I have emotional triggers, and I'm even learning about stuff through my journey where, like, people assume one thing about a certain diagnosis, and it's like, actually triggers can be this and this. So there's so much that we don't know about mental health because we've all been quiet about it for so long. And so if somebody has the bravery to speak up about it, I don't think punishing somebody who has already shared their journey through struggles is the best way to do it. But it's also something where, obviously, if you can safely do it, I think this is where we need to be better. This is the same argument where it's like, not all men. Well, it's like, not all men, but also, until other people start calling attention to this stuff, it does become an issue. So if you hear somebody say that, maybe it's not a safe place for you to address that fan, to be like, hey, that was messed up. Don't say something like that. But that is an opportunity to maybe get up, let security know, and because we do have to stop that kind of behavior, because otherwise it just continues. A little kid sees it, that's okay. It's just, I don't know. I just think we need to be better humans. And when we see stuff like this, it really upsets me. And you can tell I'm very passionate about this because he shared something so raw and emotional, and I don't think he should be punished for that.
Hey, that's a very good point. I want to segue to the tough guy award for this episode goes to the manager of the Orioles, who
Talk about being vulnerable.
I don't. Yeah, good point. Look, for those of you who don't know, like the manager of the Orioles took a ball, and like how many bones were fractured in his jaw?
So he was struck by a foul ball on Monday, and he fractured 7 bones in his cheek. They said broken jawbone. I also saw something like maybe potentially with his orbital. He was still talking to the press afterwards, and he had a little bit of you could see
He had stitches, didn't he?
I think so. And then
he looked like
obviously
Frankenstein's monster
his face
on his face.
Yeah, he was a little bit swollen, but he was still there in good spirits talking to the media. He said he actually came back out. So they were saying that he wanted to stay, but he was a little bit concerned about the blood. So he went in, they did the whole concussion protocol. He had to wait to do a CT scan. He wanted to put it off till later and stay for the game. And they were like, no, dude, you really need to get a CT. But while he was waiting, I guess that he said that there was a bases loaded situation and a home run he heard about. So he's like, screw it. I'm going to go back up to the dugout. And so he was out there and he said, this is what we're here for. I'm here for the players. Players go through a lot. You just strap on. And so I appreciated the fact that he wanted to be there for his guys. They eventually were like, all right, you've got to go now. But I feel like that's got to bolster the players who play under you. They know that this horrible thing happened. It's probably a little scary. They're still playing on the field. And then they still see you come back out after this amazing moment. That's got to bolster them a little bit.
Look, I mean,
I don't know if I could do it.
Exactly. It doesn't take a lot to be tougher than me. There's no way I'd be in the hospital immediately. So, I mean, a tough guy award goes to him. The fact that he stayed and did what he did was really impressive. Segueing to another tough guy, we're going to wrap the show up with, we're going to talk about Jackie Robinson Day. You were there for Jackie Robinson Day, right, Amie?
Yep, we got our jerseys. They honored him before the game. Bob Kendrick even came out. He's the president of the Negro League Museum, and he spoke before the game, and just a lot of stuff where I think that we should absolutely remember and celebrate this, but I think we also need to remember where we come from and why we're celebrating it, and that we still have a long way to go, because while he did break the color barrier, it was not an easy task for him to do that. The world was not welcoming for him. And as we're seeing some things go backwards in time a little bit, whether it's, racially, whether it's, gender-based, etc. It's just something to remember that we're all humans and we're all fighting battles. And, he did some pretty amazing things to open the doors. And I know that there were other people before him that, he's on their shoulders, but just to remember the celebration is great, but we also need to remember why we're celebrating.
I do love the tradition that they started of having both teams go out to the Jackie Robinson statue. Unfortunately, I think we're getting to an age now where there's less and less people that were around that era. We were so lucky because we had Vin Scully for so long, who was actually there and could share those stories. There's that great ice skating race story that he used to tell about him and Jackie Robinson. So I think that is cool. I think you're absolutely right in terms of, I don't know. To me, the Jackie Robinson Day it's a tough day, because I think it is absolutely important that he's honored and that his story is told, because he paved the way for, not Afro Latinos, but you have to sit there and wonder, the league was segregated, that he also paved the way for a guy like Shohei to be able to play in the league. So I think it's important to tell that story, so when little kids, especially when there are efforts to erase history, to keep the history alive.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think just being able, like, they had some of the people that were even involved in like the movie project with Chadwick Boseman and telling stories before the game, and I think that also brought a lot more exposure to what he went through, especially as you say, as we get farther away from that, it just becomes a story like many people may not realize the extent of why we're celebrating, but if you can watch a movie like that and kind of see what he went through, like, I mean, I challenge you to not be moved by the scene where he's getting called all of those racial slurs and he ends up, underneath the dugout, like basically having a come to whoever moment. And that's just a tiny fraction of what he went through. And whether it's, back then or even what people are going through today, I think it's just a good reminder of like, we're all humans. We all have a right to be here. And, as we've been saying through this whole show, like, give people some grace.
Yeah, and especially fans. Give grace to give grace, especially to Dodger fans. I feel like all us Dodger fans are going through it.
Are you
Because
about to ruin this moment by being
no,
facetious? Okay.
no, I'm trying to be genuine here
Oh, okay.
because
Okay. Carry on.
I feel like I feel like there's a group of Dodger fans, and this may be more casuals. I don't know. I think there's a group of Dodger fans that are really struggling with the adjustment to the popularity of the team
Ah,
and
yes.
and how hard it is. Now, I go back to what you said. I was thinking a lot about what you said in the sense that going to a game is a privilege. It's not a
Mhm.
right, right? And it sucks because some of us no longer have that privilege to go to a Dodger game. So that's what I meant by grace.
Gotcha.
Amy is just like there's fans that I think that are struggling with that because they want to go to games and it's becoming like even if like if I even if my sister would have gotten me that ticket and I could have gone, I would have had to have gotten there super early to make sure I get and you
I have a
don't
friend who
sometimes
had
your
to take off
schedule
work early. They had to put in like,
exactly.
so now you're affecting your livelihood just to get there. And like none of this is easy, whether you're the family who's been priced out because you can't afford to go, or maybe you can afford the tickets, but you've got to bring all of your food in. And now you've got to explain to your kids like why you can't have the food over there, or we can't buy you something in the store. Like, it's not easy. Like, I don't take for granted the privilege that I even have being a season ticket holder. I am fortunate, and we're all having to deal with that, and I hope that we will get to more of like a median, maybe with all of these sponsorships, maybe we'll see something change. But none of this is easy, and everybody wants to win, but there are side effects to winning, and not all of them are great.
Did you see Blake Williams's posts about Hello Kitty Night?
I did not.
So Blake Williams covers the Dodgers for Dodger Blue.
Mhm.
And he went to Hello Kitty Night not as a member of the press. He went as a fan.
Oh,
And he basically on Twitter, shared his experience with as going as a fan. And this is one of it was eye-opening, Amy, because you looked at the comments and he was critical about the experience. A lot of the stuff that you brought up, he brought up in terms of the lines and even inside the stadium for when you're trying to get food and stuff like that. He
and
was
and
very
that's not to say that I'm just blindly complaining about that here. I've talked to my season ticket holder, like representative and things like that, giving them constructive criticism, not yelling at them because they don't deserve that, but making sure that it does get channeled so hopefully things can be better down the road.
and that was his whole intention. I don't think it was cynical on his part. He was literally bringing up these things because he went with a friend and because they wanted the Hello Kitty thing and it was their first experience. And that's why I was asking you earlier, would it like damper if that was your first experience going there? So he made this post basically as like, look, I want things to be better for the fans. This is what and he got lambasted. He
Oh,
got lambasted on this post, and that's because and this is how I know, the majority of the Dodger fans love their team. And so what was apparent in that comment was this. There were people that go to a lot of Dodger games that know I gave myself a thumbs up. There's a lot of people that go to a lot of Dodger games, so they know the routine, so they know what to expect, right? So they know I got to get there early on this night. They know how this is going to be. It's going to be a crazy night. But then there was also another group that is clearly like has accepted things for what they are, and it's like, dude, there's nothing you can do about it. And then there's the group of people that you can't say anything critical about the Dodgers. And if you say something bad about the Dodgers, we are going to come after you. And this is the reason why I just say, hey guys, try to give everyone grace, because if someone is being critical of the Dodgers, whether it's, whatever their reason for being critical, just keep in mind, some people are going through it. They are passionate about their team. And, if it's the one time you get to go to Dodger Stadium and you don't get the giveaway, it sucks.
But that's where I think, again, we can have better social media etiquette. If you don't agree with something, then scroll by. Like, what? I don't understand why. I'm not saying like everybody's voice shouldn't be heard. I'm not trying to censor anybody. But if you don't agree and that post isn't going to hurt you, then okay. Well, that was his opinion. I don't agree with him. Scrolling on. Like, I don't understand the need to like, are you going to change that person's mind? Like, I don't know. I have better things to do with my time. I'm already maxed out as it is. And to me, I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm also not going to knock another human on what they believe, because the world is hard enough, but we all handle things differently. So there you go.
Yeah. And this is why I'm saying it's April. Things are not going to change. There's still more giveaways on the schedule. So
treat everybody like a good human. Let's institute the golden rule again. If anybody needs a reminder, treat everybody like how you would want to be treated.
The summer is coming, and it is clear that the Dodgers are going to be busy. Curious if they'll hit 4 million fans again this year. Last year was the first time they've done it, and they're just before we end the show, I forgot to bring up that there was a survey that the LA Times did about the most popular team in Los Angeles, and shocker, everybody, who was the most popular team in Los Angeles?
Was it the Dodgers?
It was the Doyers. Now, mind you, this was, I don't think I think it was like a little over 2,000 people that they surveyed for this. But it was very interesting because the breakdown was the Dodgers were 42.9%, the top team of LA's favorite team. Next were the Lakers at 28.2%. So there's a little bit of a gap there between the Doyers and the Lakers. And then everybody says that NFL is king. The Rams were next, and they were 7.3. So there's a huge gap between the Doyers and the Rams. I will say this stuff is cyclical, because clearly the Doyers are popular right now because they're winning. There was a period of time where the Lakers were the number one team when they were winning. I also feel like the Doyers, whoever's a Doyer fan is also a Laker fan. So there's like overlap there and stuff like that. But this is just another example of just how popular this team is, and we got to start getting used to it, everybody.
Well, and PSA to the people, like you said, maybe people aren't as used to going to games as some of us are. Remember, you're going to have to get there early, so pay attention to those gate times. It's 2.5 hours before the start of a game, 2 hours. So 2.5 hours for parking gates, 2 hours for the stadium gates. People will line up. So if we can do anything for our 5 listeners who probably already know all of this, if you have a friend that doesn't, make sure do your good deed for the day and remind people if they don't go to games all the time, you're gonna have to get there early, at least while we're in the heyday of the Dodgers right now.
Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna try something new. We're gonna end the episode with a stat.
We are.
You put this in the rundown. Are we not?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, are we doing this every time? I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we're going to do it every time. We're going to do it for this episode.
I was just making sure the stat you sent me made it in.
I wrote.
Hey, guys, we're pulling back the curtain. This is our planning right now.
Oh, I totally misread the rundown.
Oh, you guys
I
get to be part of our awkward moment.
okay, that's my bad. So in my defense, English is my second language. I totally misread that. So I did come up with a stat though.
Yes, that's
So
the stat I was hoping we were gonna talk
but
about.
not I have another stat.
Go for it. Yay,
we'll
bonus
end with this.
bonus stat, everybody.
Okay. This is from Alden Gonzalez. A stunning development in the Dodgers season thus far. The bottom third of the lineup's OPS is 935, 130-point lead over the second place team. In other words, the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters have basically been Juan Soto, who from 23 to 2025, his OPS is 946.
That's a good stat, Juan.
Not only that,
but wait, there's more.
Their OPS, the 789, even though it's higher than other teams, it's also higher than their first 3 hitters. Actually, their first 4 hitters. And those guys are on their way to the Hall of Fame. So give kudos to the bottom of the Dodgers lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Those 7, 8, 9 hitters, you could say right now, are carrying the Doyers offense. But that's I read the rundown wrong. My apologies. I thought I was supposed to find a stat. So that being said,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you extra work.
Again, it is I read that wrong. Dyslexia.
That is a good stat, though, my friend. That is a great way to end the show today.
So any last words, Amie?
See you guys at the next homestand.
All right. So for those of you that have been listening to us on the audio portion of the show, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that notification button, give us a thumbs up, leave us your comments. We love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, and Bluesky at Baseball Shangri-La. She is Amie Cuevas. I'm Juan Ramirez. Nos despedimos con un beso. Amie, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.